welcome to Pink Tutu Tarot. So for today's reading, Spirit wants to show you something about yourself that they want you to know. There's something they want you to know about yourself. There's something about yourself that you see one way, that they see a very different way. And, it's just a fun, relatively short reading. And hopefully it will just open your eyes about something in your life. So I've got 3 cards that are from the readings. I usually flip the cards over. If you follow my channel, you'll usually see what the card is. But in this instance, Spirit did not want to give you a sneak peek because this is about how they see you, and they don't want you to be attracted to a card that is how you see yourself, because obviously there's some difference there. So anyway, they wanted me to keep these cards hidden. So you're just going to pick based on the number and what your gut is telling you, and see where it takes you. So group 1, group 2, group 3. Go ahead, pick your group. You can go down into the description box and click on the timestamp or the chapter, and it will take you to your reading, and I will see you there. Thanks, y'all. Hey, group 1. Okay, so today we are going to take a look at what your spirit guides wish you knew about yourself, or wish you saw differently about yourself. So your oracle card is card number 7, and it says Poe, time for change, to learn something new, to use technology and gadgets with wisdom. Okay, and I'm going to pull some cards. We're going to pull one that represents how you see yourself, and then 3 that represent how Spirit sees you and how they wish you would see yourself, or what they wish you knew about yourself. All right, we have the Fool reversed over there. And just so you guys know, with this particular deck, the images on them are so nuanced, and they have so many messages in them that I tend to read more from what's in the image than the actual meaning of the card. Some of the cards, I use both, but just so you know, I do read this particular deck a little differently in general. Okay. We have here the Page of Cups. The Two of Pentacles. And the Three of Swords reversed. Okay, interesting. All right, give me just a second. I want to take all this in, see if they give me any initial messages for you, and then we'll talk about what's going on here. Okay. All right. They're telling me that you see yourself as someone who is a little bit old school. You don't necessarily like to this is how you see yourself. You don't necessarily like to adopt new things, try new things, invent new things. You don't see yourself as particularly creative, and you don't, and very much of an out of the box thinker. You see yourself as someone who does things the way they ought to be done, and you're just good at doing them. But you don't see yourself as someone who is particularly innovative. So with the Fool reversed, the Fool card, when it's upright, is one that takes a lot of chances, right? Tries things, is a little bit of a risk taker. You don't quite see yourself in that way, at least when it comes to your creativity, your innovation, the way you do things and how you do things and how you see things. That's how you see yourself. Spirit is saying they see you very differently. They see you as someone who is loaded with ideas. If you see all these fish and coming off of her dress, just leaping in her dress and out of her dress, and they say you're full of ideas. You have more ideas than you give yourself credit for. And they come from a place of emotional depth. They're saying you've been through some challenging times in your life where you've had to do some deep soul searching, where you've had to go beneath the surface and discover yourself a little. But in that, they're calling it a dance of discovery. In that dance of discovery, you've learned a lot of things about yourself. And one of the things that you've learned, or that you think you've learned, is that you're not very creative or very inventive or very innovative. Because they're saying the reason why you think that is because you're always creating and inventing and innovating. You always are. It's your normal. It's just what you do every day, and so it doesn't feel like anything special to you. You see other people's innovations and ideas and you're like, whoa, now that's a creative person. But you don't see that you do it every day to the point where you lose sight of how magnificent you are at this. You see in this card, she's juggling, I don't know what, buttons and balls and different things. They're saying that's you. You juggle all these ideas and you grab at the ones that make the most sense for you or for whatever you're doing. And you make it your own in your own way. In a unique way that other people don't. You don't just copy and paste what other people do. You always do things with your own twist on them. And you're always plucking at ideas. They're saying you just have gotten so used to it that, again, you don't even see it anymore. And with the Three of Swords reversed, hold on one second. I mean, obviously they were saying that you have gone through some times where you've had to heal, where you've had to go deep and learn things about yourself and find ways to come up out of the dark, out of the muck, out of, the hole you were in. You found ways to do that. That's part of your innovation. But there's something else they want to say about this card, so give me 1 second. They're saying you know how to bring yourself back to life every time you fall. And in a lot of ways, that is the essence of the Fool card. They're saying you've got it wrong. Like, the Fool isn't everything good, don't get me wrong. But what is wonderful about the Fool is their ability to see the world with wide open eyes and just say, I want to try that, right? And to just go for things and try things. One of your gifts is that as you've gone through your life in the past and now, you've tried things. You've tried a lot of things. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. But every time you pulled yourself out of it, where someone else might have called it quits. If you see this girl / butterfly, I mean, she could be dead, right? She got a pin in her. You never let it keep you down. You always find a way to reimagine yourself and your life, rediscover yourself and your life. You're constantly changing and transforming into someone new. That's all innovation. That's all creativity. So you do it in small ways every day, with your job, with your home, with other things that you do. But you do it in big ways too, where you literally reinvent yourself. If you look back, how many times have you done that? It's very interesting. So then we have this Poe card, time for change, to learn something new, to use technology and gadgets with wisdom. They're saying this is less about gadgets and more about invention and innovation and trying new things. You are an expert at it. You probably came here from a past life, if you believe in that, having really learned this skill very, very well, because it just comes so naturally to you that it doesn't feel like a skill to you at all. You don't even recognize it. And your spirit guides really want you to know. All right, y'all, short and sweet. That's all I have for you. I hope that was fun for you. It was fun for me to kind of hear both sides of who you are. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, y'all. Hey, group 2. Okay, we are going to take a look at something your spirit guides wish you knew about yourself. Something or something you think about yourself that they wish you saw differently. So, all right, your Oracle card. It's card number 15, Mildew Fairy, Cleanup Time. All right, we'll leave that there for now. I'm going to pull one card that represents how you see yourself, and then 3 cards that kind of show how Spirit sees you differently and what they want you to know. All right, we have the Moon. Right, this is, gosh, I'm gonna forget now. These cards are so different from typical tarot cards that a lot of times I forget. Oh, this is the Strength card. Okay, sorry. So just so you guys know, with this particular deck, I tend to read more from the image than from the actual meaning of the card. To me, these cards don't always, the images and the actual card don't always correlate, in my opinion, but there's so much that I pull from the imagery intuitively that I actually really, really love using these cards. I just sometimes forget what the tarot numbers are, which is terrible because I've been doing this a really long time. I'm just not good at remembering the numbers. And we have the Six of Pentacles. And one more, please. And we have the Page of Wands. Okay. Give me just a second. I want to take all these in, see if I get any initial messages for you from Spirit, and then we're going to talk about what's here. Okay. Okay, interesting. All right, what they're telling me is that you see yourself as someone who is very swallowed up by your emotions sometimes, that you sort of wallow in them sometimes. You see yourself as someone who can't really escape your emotions, almost like you get trapped in them sometimes. It's like you feel all the time, and you feel like it weighs you down. And we see that here with the Moon card, right? And the Moon card is an emotion card, but you can see like how frazzled this girl looks, and she's, you know, up to her chest in the water, and she just looks overwhelmed. And they're saying that's kind of how you see yourself. They see you very differently, though. So go ahead, Spirit. I'm going to let you say your... They're saying we see you as someone who scoops up the trash and takes it out. Without any compulsion to keep things around. And by things, by things, they mean not just things in your house. Yes, that may be one, but people and situations and environments. When something is not working for you, an environment or a group of people or a person, you don't stay stuck forever. You actually, like, if you could see yourself from a distance like they can, you would see that you're actually very good at cutting the ties, cutting out the bad, and getting it out of your life and moving on. Okay. They're saying, yes, you do have emotions. You are an emotional being. You may be a water sign or have strong water elements in your birth chart, but you do have strong and deep emotions that you feel. you see this as a detriment a lot of the time, probably most of the time. Like, why do I have to be so emotional? Why does everything have to hurt so much, right? Why does it have to be such highs and such lows? Spirit is saying what you're not seeing is that it's these emotions that have helped you take control of your life and give you back your power. Your emotions are your power because you see things from a deep level that other people, not quite as deep, might not feel it like you do and would live with things longer. But you feel them so deeply that you get to a point where you're not going to take it anymore. And you cut those things out of your life. So let's look at the card. Here we've got this Strength card. She is up on some kind of animal, and she's got a dragon at the ground, and you can tell she is taking control of the situation. She is not going to be bullied. She is not going to be, controlled or manipulated. She's in charge. Spirit's saying, that's right. You are in charge of your own life. And it's incredible to watch. You do what you have to do to make your life good for you. And you do it in the right way. You don't do it to hurt people. You aren't trying to step on people's toes or take advantage of them. You just take care of yourself. And you don't allow others to infect your energy, or if they do, not for very long. Before you're done. You're not in a negative way of cutting them out, but like if you have a toxic person in your life who's always drama, you just don't talk to them, right? You don't answer the phone. You don't respond to their texts. You just don't engage. And if you need to engage, you set down the law. You make it clear that you're not putting up with this. So much stronger than you think you are. And then we have this Six of Pentacles. They're saying this, they want to make sure you understand that they're not saying that you're the type of person that just cuts everybody out of your life. You know what's important. You hang on to what you have when it adds value to your life. And when it gives something back to you in some way, whether it's just joy or, good feelings or a good laugh. You may keep things in your home that are treasures, and you will keep them even if they're not very useful, but they're treasures. But you don't keep things just to have things, to go have more things, It's like what you own are treasures. The people in your life that you engage with are treasures. And that's sort of how this cat is with her mice. She is holding on to her treasures. But if the burden becomes too heavy, or if they start to bite, or they start to smell bad, she lets them go, as you would. My spirit guide is holding his nose, going, pee you. He's just silly sometimes. Okay. And then with this one, the picture is, I'll show it to you upright so you can really see it. But it's like a rose plant, but it's so dark. It's almost like the plant has like mildewed or something. I don't know exactly what it would be in like botanical world, but they're pointing out that you don't let things like rot on the vine, is what they're saying. you don't let things go so bad that they infect your life. You notice that they infect your life, that something is toxic, that something isn't good for you, long before other people would or do. It is a special gift of yours. And you don't always see it because it's just, in your mind, it's just who you are. You think of yourself as too emotional. Spirit thinks of you as perfectly emotional, with these depths that allow you to sense and feel and understand situations and people before they really ruin or destroy your life. And then your card, Mildew Fairy, Cleanup Time. You're not the stuck mess that you think you are. You actually know how to keep your life clean. Now, whether or not you keep your house clean, I don't know. This is not about that. It's about letting go of negative and toxic energies and people and situations and jobs and environments that you know deep down are not good for you. And you're really, really good at cleaning those out of your life. And Spirit really wants you to know that. All right, group 2, I hope that was interesting for you. It was certainly interesting for me. This is a fun, reading, short but sweet. Kind of little quick insight into something Spirit wants you to know about yourself. So I hope you liked it. I hope it resonated, and I will see you next time. Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye. Hey, group 3. Okay, we are going to take a look at something your spirit guides wish you knew about yourself, or in some way wish you saw differently about yourself. So your oracle card is card number 2, and it says Fairy of the Divine Hand, Intoxication, Distorted View, Overindulgence. Put that over there. I'm going to pull some tarot cards. I'm going to pull one card that represents how you see yourself, and 3 cards that show us how your spirit guides see you and what they want you to know about that. All right, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And just so you guys know, with this particular deck, I tend to read these much more intuitively than even a regular tarot deck. I tend to pay less attention to the actual meaning of the card and I get more from the imagery. To me, there's so much in the imagery of these cards that it just pulls at my intuition, and that ends up being more how I read than the particular meaning of the card. So if I'm reading them and they're completely off what you know a card typically reads as, that's why. All right, we have the Six of Swords reversed. We have the Magician. And we have the Sun. Okay. All right, let me take these in, see if they give me any initial messages for you, and then we'll talk about what's going on here. Okay. All right. So you guys have a little bit different energy than the first two readings. So you might want to listen to one of the other ones as well, but this one for sure, I think you need to hear. So they're saying that you see yourself as someone who can take or leave certain things. Whether that be food, alcohol, substances. You see yourself as someone who indulges once in a while, but that you could take or leave it. You're not particularly attached to certain things. You don't need certain things. And you can certainly go without it. You might like some things, but you can certainly go without it. And we see that here with this card. Now forget the true meaning of this card. Focus on this girl. She's eating this ice cream cone. It's dripping all over her hands. She's got candy all around her. But she looks mostly disinterested. Like, I don't care if it just melts and like falls down on the ground. No big deal. I don't need it. It's just here. They're saying that's how you see yourself a lot of the time. But your spirit guides see a little bit different side of you, and they want you to be aware of it. Okay, hold on, they're saying something. Okay, they're saying we want you to know that this is not a bad thing. It's something we want you to know so that you can make the conscious choice to correct something or change something or not. We're not telling you what you do or don't do is wrong. Just that you may not be recognizing the full reality of it as we see it. Okay. So we have this Six of Swords in reverse. Again, they say you see yourself as someone who could take or leave certain things. Sweets, maybe, or junk food, alcohol, substances of different kinds, legal, illegal, otherwise, you, I don't know you. But they're saying you don't actually leave these things behind very often. You might do it for a short stint and then go back to it. Like maybe you go on a diet and go back to it. Or maybe you quit drinking for 30 days and then go back to it. But it's not very often that you leave things for good. They're not suggesting that you need to, necessarily. You might, maybe look at yourself with fresh eyes, but they're saying it's not about that. This is not us telling you to change your life. They're saying this is us telling you that things are not exactly the way you see it, and that if you want to make a change in your life, the best thing you can do is to recognize where you're not being quite honest with yourself. And that's where this Magician card comes in. Now, normally the Magician card can do whatever they want. And Spirit's saying you can too. But what I'm being pulled to on this card is really the mask that she's holding out in front of her. They're saying you don't see things clearly. You don't see yourself clearly. And they're also pointing out, I guess this is a bird in a bird cage. I don't know if y'all can see it. That sometimes you get trapped by, whatever it is that you tend to overindulge in. They're saying you're not as free and easy about it as you think. You're not as unencumbered by it as you think. These things tend to weigh you down more than you give them credit for. Interesting. And then we have the Sun card. They're saying you think these things make you happy. Whatever it is. Maybe you just love sweets. Maybe you love, a few glasses of wine at night. Whatever it is for you. You think it makes you happy. That it brings you joy. That it makes you more fun to be around. They're pointing out all these bees that are attracted to her. That it makes you more fun to be around. But Spirit's saying, it's not the substances, right? It's not the food, the drink, whatever, that make you fun, that help you be happy. That's all you. You don't need those things. It's just a crutch that you've started to believe make you more fun, make you more interesting, make you a better conversationalist, make you more interesting, make you happier when you're home alone. You don't need those things to be happy. And I think the gist of this here today is not to beat you up, because they really keep coming back and saying, look, you're fine, right? You're not doing anything wrong, other than we wish you were more honest with yourself, that you could see yourself with our eyes and go, okay, maybe this over here is a problem, or maybe this over here actually makes me feel worse instead of better, or weighs me down, like emotionally more than it would if I didn't eat or drink that thing. They're saying, we just want you to be happy and healthy and whole and complete in yourself. And when you overindulge, sometimes it makes you feel bad. And you chalk it up to a bad day or a stressful situation and say it couldn't be helped. But next time you'll get it. Spirit's saying, if you really want to overcome something and just feel better, the first step is to step back and recognize that these things are not everything you've been telling yourself they are. Interesting. All right. And then we have, again, Fairy of the Divine Hand, intoxication, distorted view, overindulgence. This is for sure about overindulgence and a distorted view about that. It's just not seeing yourself clearly in your, I don't want to say addictions, because I don't know that I'm not getting a sense of addiction to anything necessarily. It's really more about overindulgence and treating it like it's a one-off thing, when it really probably happens a lot more often than you're admitting to yourself. And is that what you want in your life? It's okay if it is. But if Spirit can help you see things with more clear eyes and open yourself up to maybe different options, different ways to feel happy and, just by being you, then all the better. So again, like I said, the vibe in your reading is a little bit more, a little heavier, a little more challenging than the other two. So if you want an uplift, maybe if you were called to groups 1 or 2, give one of those a try as well. and then you'll leave with a little happier feeling. But maybe this is just what you needed to hear too. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.